Psychology is a very broad and diverse scientific field. It doesn't just involve the treatment of mental disorders. That's a part of what psychology is, but it doesn't represent the whole. Generally speaking, anything that has to do with the study of mental processes, such as thinking, learning, intelligence, sensation, perception, and observable action, behaviors. Even things like the biological bases of behavior, that's all fair game for psychology. There are many, many topics of study within the field.
We try to cover the basics. Psychology is a very broad field. If people are involved, psychologists are studying it or helping people with it. So we have sort of the physiological, biological side. We have cognitive side, thinking and memory. Behavior modification, we have an animal lab, we have social psychology, industrial organizational psychology, child development, abnormal behavior, theories of counseling. We have a couple people who do research with human subjects. We have a psychology honor society now.
Our major is specifically designed to be tailored to the individual students' desires in terms of their career. And so you may have two students who have graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology from Ferris State University, and you compare their coursework and it looks quite different.
I have a bunch of friends in the psychology program, but because I'm looking at going into the experimental research side of it and they're going into clinical counseling area, I'm talking to them about their classes and what they've been learning so far. And the experiences they've had here are so vastly different from what I've had. So it's really interesting to see, we're all in the same broad category. Yeah, we're all psychology students, but we're going about it in such different ways. There's something for everybody if you're interested in the field.
I wanted to pursue a career in psychology because there's just something that's really, really exciting about the idea of being able to measure people. Just put numbers to people and be able to figure out how people work just by putting those numbers to them. It's just really interesting, and I've never found anything more interesting than that.
I plan on working in elementary school with students and children and working with students with learning disabilities.
Many of our students are interested in the practitioner side of psychology, meaning that they want careers as counselors, as therapists, clinicians. Many other students are really interested in forging a career that involves an active part in research. So for most of these students, they're interested in studying psychological processes that relate to just normal functioning people.
The really nice thing about, once again, having such a broad range of classes is you get to meet up with a lot of different faculty that are in the psych program. So you get to meet a lot of different professors, and a lot of them have jobs outside of campus, which is something I think is really cool because they're in there, they're lecturing, they're giving you some really good textbook information, but they can also incorporate what they do in the real world aside from just teaching classes.
Faculty is so knowledgeable about just about everything there is to know about psychology, and they're incredibly helpful with letting you decide what you should do with your career and your career choices.
I really love the staff and the people that are here to help us learn, and there's a lot of different opportunities, like the Student Psychology Association, which is the student RSO on campus.
The Student Psychology Association has been around at Ferris for a really long time, and I did not get involved with that until my first junior year. So I went to the first meeting and they were saying, all right, so we're gonna start talking to you guys about grad school. We're gonna start talking about GRE prep because it's such a big step of it. What the e-board actually did was they all gave presentations on what realm of psychology they're gonna go into and the steps they've been taking to get them where they wanna go so far.
One thing that I think sort of sets our program apart from many other programs is the undergraduate internship program that we offer here at Ferris. And it's fairly flexible. Ultimately, it's a way of providing students crucial firsthand experience in areas that they're interested in. And to a certain extent, it may serve as a competitive edge over students coming from other universities, other programs that have not had that undergraduate internship experience.
As part of the requirement for your graduation, you either can choose to do an internship, which is more for if you're doing clinical psychology, or you can choose to do your own research project, which is more for the experimental side of things. But most colleges don't offer that, and having that background makes you incredibly marketable, just straight off from having a bachelor's degree, but it makes you really desirable for when you apply to a graduate program, because they want you to have that experience.
This competitive edge is very useful when we're talking about applying to graduate programs. The majority of our majors do end up applying to graduate school.